South Haven kiddos, it's your friendly neighborhood Mr. Crow here to talk to you about your weekly class discussions. So you're going to see one of these posted every Monday, and there's a couple of things that you need to remember with these. Number one, you're always going to see some kind of prompt here. In this one, we have an article posted, so you're going to have to read that article, and then we'll have a question associated with it as well. Now, you'll read this question after you've read the article. You'll post your response to this in this spot right here on Google Classroom. You need to make sure that it's in this spot, because if you type it in as a private comment, nobody's going to be able to reply because it's a private comment to only your teachers. Okay? So make sure you're typing it where it says your answer. Okay? You're responding to these things. That is due Mondays at midnight. So you'll see the prompt get posted Monday, start of the day. You have until midnight that day to post it. Okay? After that, you then also need to comment on a peer's post by Wednesday at midnight. So Wednesday of that same week, you're responding to a classmate's post. Once you post your answer, you're going to see your classmates' answers show up down here. You won't be able to see their answers prior to you putting in your answer. And that's just a way to make sure that you're not just looking at somebody else's answer and then stealing that. Obviously, we're not going to steal anything anyway, but it's just a check. The reason that we do these is to get you guys really thinking about some of the topics. It's kind of like a supplemental piece of information for the text that we're reading or something that has to do with something that we're about to cover in the class. And it's also a way to get you guys talking with each other. Normally, if we were in a normal school year, you'd be sitting with your group, you'd be able to talk in class. We can't really do that. So these discussion posts become a really big, important part of our class because we are still based on collaboration. That's the best way to grow with the peers that are around you. So we got to make sure that we're doing these things. As always, if you have any questions on this, you can email Ms. Ms. Millis, Mr. Crow, any of your teachers, really. Okay? Yeah.
Sweet.
That's all I got.
That's good. Hi guys, it is Mrs. Millis, formerly known as Miss Van Dop. So we are here to talk about the rubric for the class discussion responses that you guys have every Monday. This rubric is going to look real similar to some folks because this video is going out to 9th and 10th grade. Possibly even 11th and 12th, but this rubric is exclusive for the 9th and the 10th grade. So any of my 10th graders from last year's freshmen, this was our blog rubric. It has been revamped for the class discussion posts. So let's talk about what it takes to get an A on this class discussion post, because that's all we really care about, right? Getting them A's. So the first category is your responses. How do you respond to the question or questions? So my responses to the questions, prompts from the teacher were insightful and even included cited evidence to support what I was saying. That is key because we are going to be focusing on cited evidence all year long. So you might as well just get used to giving it to us because that's what we want. All right. You are also getting a grade on your comment that you leave somebody else. Another classmate. So that is going to be due on Wednesdays, as Mr. Crow stated, and this says to get a 4, to get an A on your comment. I commented on a discussion thread or a post of another student in an insightful and purposeful manner. I even included cited evidence in my comment to support what I was saying. Okay? So that is how you get an A in a peer comment. Now the third category is what we call digital citizenship. Basically, are you being responsible online? Okay? So respect for my classmates and online community is the rest of that topic. And to get an A, it would be a conversation with a group of adults that you wouldn't hesitate to have your parents hear. Like if you were giving a school board presentation. This is not where we have slang. This is not where language should be showing up. It shouldn't show up anyway in your schoolwork, but this is where when you are talking, you're showing respect to others, okay? The next one is personal application, okay? So forget the squiggly lines. The student connects the issue or issues in the question or prompt to their own life. You really look for something in your life where you can connect. Perhaps it's a certain topic that we're discussing. The first unit in the 9th grade is talking about high stress situations. I think we might have some examples in our own life that we could probably tap into, okay? And so that's where we're going to go ahead and really look at the content and then look at our own life and figure out where those intersect. And then the last one is conventions, spelling, grammar, yada, yada, yada. You know, all the fun stuff that No Red Ink is helping us get better at. So this is when, before you submit your response, you might want to throw it into a Google Doc and then run it through Grammarly just to see if there are any red flags that come up. This is definitely where we do not want to have text talk, which I've already seen in some emails, by the way. It's great. Oh, I'm sorry, BTW. So let's make sure that the text talk stays out of our responses and our posts and our comments, okay? It's English class. By definition, we want your words, all of them, okay? We are going to post the rubric and video discussing what an A response looks like and an A comment looks like, okay? Just to give you guys some feedback and to let you know if you're on the right track, all right? Thanks, guys.
Hey
everybody, so we're going to talk a little bit today about discussion board postings and what the expectations are for you when you post them. So you'll see here some examples from former students of mine, and they were doing a response to the book Night. We read some chapters. They had to find some inspiration in the chapters and talk about Ellie's experiences at Auschwitz. So you'll see in this posting that the original poster is labeling it in two parts, so it's clear for the reader what's being addressed when. You'll notice that in the first one, she starts with a quote. She's pulling some explicit evidence, some explicit text right from the novel to help prove her point. Right? This is stuff that will get you an A on your discussion board posting, using text from the book, from the article, whatever it is that we're reading at the time. You'll see that not only is she giving the quote, she is also discussing that quote. She talks about how it's very meaningful. This is because, right? Phrases like this is because, important, because that means not only are you describing the quote, you're explaining it to your peers and to your audience, your teacher, right? And so she discusses that, right? Moving on to her next section, she talks about what stood out to her. She's explaining why it stands out. She's giving specific references to things in the supplemental video that they had, giving specific references to parts of that video, not just talking about it in vague general terms. She's being very specific in her posting, right? That's what we want from you guys. We want quotes, we want evidence, we want very specific information. Not just that, but we want your opinions on them, we want your justifications for them. Right. Then you'll see that their peers, right, responded to them. Okay. And you'll notice that in each one of them, they're addressing, right, the original poster, saying what they agreed with, what they didn't agree with, and they are expanding on what she wrote, right? They're using her post as a jumping off point for their own experiences, their own opinions, right? So they're taking this original post and going further, going deeper in the meaning of it. What's important also is in this first one, right, what definitely made this person's response to the post in a response is you'll note that she also pulled quotes. She pulled specific parts of the original quote, right, and she pulled other things that applied to it. Right, so not only is she discussing, right, the original post's opinions, she's pulling her own quotes to help support her position and her expansion of this original post. Right? So key takeaways, right? Use evidence, use explanation, justification, right? And when you respond, right, use that original post as a springboard to dive further into the topic at hand.